and welcome to this Study Smarter screencast, Apply Critical Thinking. Thinking critically is something you need to practice and develop while you're at UWA. As a student at UWA, you're expected to engage actively with ideas, to analyse data and findings, and to develop your own responses. These all require you to think critically. By developing your critical thinking skills, you're also developing your ability to create new ideas, to apply what you know to new tasks, and to solve complex problems. Critical thinking is the process you use when you apply logic and reasoning to assess ideas, arguments, and information, and make your own informed judgments. Like a high-level sport, thinking critically takes discipline and constant practice to train and develop these skills. At UWA, academics, scholars, visiting speakers and other students, as well as the texts you study, are continually presenting findings, claims, theories, arguments, and conclusions. It's important to evaluate them, forming your own conclusions. Examining and evaluating ideas and arguments will enable you to make informed judgments about important issues, as well as helping you to develop your own ideas. Here are Study Smarter's 3 top tips to develop your critical thinking skills. First, examine ideas. Second, be objective. And third, create your own ideas. Our first top tip is to examine ideas. This involves pulling them apart to see how they work and how they're put together. A good way to examine ideas is to ask questions. By asking questions, you're showing that you're thinking about the ideas being presented rather than just passively accepting them at face value. There are many questions you could ask. A good place to start is to ask what, how, and why. These questions will help direct you, as well as making sure that you examine ideas closely. Here are some what questions you could ask. What's the topic? What do I already know about this? What do I need to find out? Asking these questions at the start of a topic or research project helps you to establish your scope and to focus on what you need to do. How questions look at the ways in which ideas, data, findings, results and conclusions are produced. They look at the methods and processes. Understanding how things work and how they're put together will enable you to assess their effectiveness. Why questions look for reasons and explanations for things. These questions demonstrate your ability to look below the surface rather than just accepting ideas without question. Our second top tip is to be objective. This means taking a step back and looking at ideas from a neutral perspective. You may have personal opinions and feelings about the ideas you're considering, but taking an objective stance will enable you to make informed judgments and decisions. Being objective will help you to assess the relevance and accuracy of ideas and to make decisions about their importance or significance in relation to what you're studying. To analyse ideas, you need to look closely at how they're constructed, looking at the logic, how it's organised, how they're put together. For example, looking at the methods or techniques used will help you to see how they work. When you analyse the meaning of something, for example data, a text, image or object, what's not mentioned or included is just as significant as what is included. It's important to read between the lines so that your interpretation is based on the full picture. For instance, if a study of UWA students' habits is based on a survey of 100 students living in halls of residence, you know the findings aren't based on a broad sample of students, and you need to take this into account. Evaluating ideas involves weighing up their strengths and weaknesses and forming your own judgments. It's important to remember this doesn't mean being overcritical or judgmental. To evaluate well, you need to remain open-minded and objective. Your evaluation should be more than an opinion. Make sure you present reasons and evidence for your decisions, judgments and conclusions. Our third and final top tip is to create your own ideas. Problem solving, interpreting data and information, developing your own theories and investigating are all examples of creating your own ideas. It's important to create your own ideas so that you contribute fresh perspectives and approaches to your area of study. There are many ways you create and apply your own ideas. You might innovate, invent, construct, or design something original. However, you don't need to be an inventor or designer to apply critical thinking. Using your critical thinking skills will help you to develop your own approaches to any area of study so that you create solutions and reach your own conclusions. Let's look again at our 3 top tips for applying critical thinking. Examine ideas, be objective, create your own ideas. Follow these tips to practice your critical thinking skills and make the most of your study here at UWA. You can find out more about critical thinking at studysmarter.uwa.edu.au. You'll find more tips and ideas at Critical Thinking Corner, and you'll also find the Study Smarter Survival Guide to Critical Thinking, as well as many other resources.